If attractive men with full sacks were celebrated in society, then we wouldn't have a lot of the perverted viewpoints that we currently have in the world, and we wouldn't be having the relationship epidemic as well as the gender war, as well as the everything. It wouldn't be nearly as disrupted, and men who are celibate or practicing semen retention, they wouldn't be so ostracized by society, considering the fact that so many of the men who are attractive have all these senses of forbiddenness about them. I mean, I'm definitely of the proclivity that the superfluousness of relationships has completely and catastrophically dwindled a lot of the opportunities that we've had really just to be. And it's like this whole essence of life, we get so caught up in trying to be certain things or act in certain ways or to have certain viewpoints, and attractive men definitely have the most to offer to some degree, especially if you're competent, especially if you actually are giving value to the world. If you're going out and doing what you're doing, see, you can't just be attractive with a full sack and not do anything with the full sack. That's not how this works. You don't really have a full sack, let's say, until you know what to do with it, until you know how to give your gift. Because the purpose really in life is to learn how to give what you got and to learn how to give what gifts you have. And if you can learn how to give your gifts and be the gift to the world, like, this is what exactly it means also to not only be an attractive man, but to really be, in many senses of the word, the total package, or the phrase, the total package. Because part of being the total package as a man is, number one, being healthy psychophysiologically. Number two, actually, taking care of yourself, and in a way that is demonstratable initially to the world. Whether you like it or not, people are going to judge you on your physical discipline. And I'm not saying that you have to be physically disciplined in order to be spiritually enlightened per se. But if you're not spiritually enlightened, you're never going to know the true meaning of physical discipline. And I'm not claiming enlightenment here. I'm just saying that because I know that it's a process. But a lot of people, they want to pretend that they're really better than they are. They want to pretend that they're good in a certain type of way, and in a particular way that makes them seem like their moral cowardice is somehow virtuous. And I think that that's what a lot of society is built off of. I mean, Nietzsche was absolutely right when he said that Christianity as a religion is a moral corruption based on envy. And I think that this is true for many senses of the word and the phrase, because it's almost like you have to be silenced around certain people in order for them to feel like they're not more than, or less than rather, like they don't want to feel like you're more than who you really are. That's another reason why attractive men with full sacks are not celebrated in societies, because they're actually being the best version of themselves in many domains of the word, and in many phrases and many qualities of the word. They are actualizing, not just manifesting, because they're not whimsically wishing it into existence. They're actually abiding by the spiritual laws that are existing in the domain, and we bypass those spiritual laws as attractive men who have their shit together. It's just the way that it is. And it's so crazy to see that society, when you start to realize just how ostracized you are as an attractive man with a full sack, like, you don't really care though. You get to a point to where you don't really care how ostracized you are. A lot of people romanticize being alone, and a lot of people romanticize this, oh, I'm just so alone, I really am alone in the world. And it's like, well, yeah, you kind of are. And yeah, in many ways, we're all one-man armies, especially if you're an attractive man with a full sack. Dude, you better believe you're a one-man army. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that's what it is. But you don't romanticize it. You don't get attached to it. And I think that's really the key antidote here, is to not get attached to it psychophysiologically. Because once you have the attachment to this, I'm alone as a man with a full sack, or I'm alone as a celibate man, you intentionally create the structured narrative of your own demise. And I want to encourage men to be a little bit more ruthless. I actually want to encourage women to be a little bit more ruthless as well. However, I want them also to keep their heart open. I want to encourage them to keep their hearts open. Do not be so confined to your own rigidness in your own mind that you start to lose this connection of the heart to existence. Now, I got terrible sleep last night, so it was, and I don't say that like I'm attached to the terribleness. It was a rough sleep. And it's not because I was like, really itching for anxiety or anything. It was as if I could feel somebody try to dictate my reality in true time. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I could feel them trying to send like these negative thoughts, or you could say that they were casting spells on me, whatever the way that you want to phrase it. But I immediately recognized this, and I recognized that I do not have to compromise my peace for the sake of feeling this way. And so what I did was I ended up just drawing and writing poetry for like 2 hours. I just woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go really back to sleep because I was so bombarded with this person. It was like they were trying to silence my voice. I could feel they were trying to silence my voice. And this is a person who I would say is morally bankrupt. They pretend, they put on a really good show that they're not. And I've exposed them, and it's not necessarily something that they are enjoying. And it's like they're trying to debate without trying to debate. And this is a person in my physical community. And they're always trying to debate without trying to debate and make it seem like it's whatever. But in reality and in the truth of the moment, they're always trying to like one up, and this is something that attractive men with full sacks experience all the time. You're going to experience the jealousy and the envy, but don't get attached to this, and recognize that, like, yes, we are not blind. Like, one of the things I wrote in my poetry last night was, he is not blinded by beings who do evil. However, he concentrates on the loving vitality that life has to give and that he has to give. Because if you're so focused on the jealousy or the envy of other people, you're not going to actually experience the totality of life. And this is where this is all a spiritual practice, okay? This is all a spiritual practice. Anytime you have an unsettled moment like that, in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, whatever it is a great opportunity for you to practice meditation. It is a great opportunity for you to practice how to just simply be more in the moment and accept what it is, but not try to change it. Just accept it and resolve it and regulate your emotions as you need to, but don't try to push them away or repress them. They're trying to teach you something. You're not having those feelings just to feel them. However, again, don't be attached to the emotions. And this is another reason why we're not celebrated as attractive men with full sacks in society. Like, we're just not. We're just not celebrated, because the moment you do this, the moment you recognize that you don't owe the world anything, you don't owe them your time, your energy, and it's like, what's crazy is I offered to like help this person in the community, and I could immediately feel like it was as if you got to be mindful of the kindness that you have to offer, man, because people who are snakes will see this as an opportunity to exploit you. And just by their words, you can see how they're trying to exploit you. Like the person, what they said when I offered to be the help, not the helper, just to be the help, I noticed how immediately he tried to like switch things up on me. And I could feel my throat chakra in real time try to be silenced. It was as if he was like, okay, well, if you're gonna do this, then I'm gonna do that. And because you just shown, like, it's so funny how people will try to take advantage of your kindness and compassion. But the thing is that I know that I am so abundant that them trying to take advantage of me doesn't matter. And this is the reason why I have to talk to you about this, is because a lot of men have closed their hearts to the possibility of living a vibrant, joyful life of vitality, of love, simply because they've been treated so wrong for so long. And we've just been alone for so long. We've just been so isolated. It seems like we're treated as the aliens, even though we're the most human people. And all because we have self-respect, all because we have the ability to recognize the beauty of people without being attached to it, and then that's what causes this hate. But we're not attached to the hate either. We just recognize it for what it is and then move sovereignly through our own timeline. Because if you're trying to move through a timeline in which you're giving this way more attention than it needs to, like, do exactly something like what I did. I took all of that energy that they were trying to push onto me and their chaos, and I transmuted it. Their fake niceness, when in reality it's actually like this, because they were, how sometimes people give you compliments and you can just feel like it's a backhanded compliment, like they have a bitter taste in their mouth from giving you the compliment. It's like, okay, thank you for showing me who you are. Thank you for showing me who you are. And you can move on with your life. You can move on with your life from there, because you don't need to be around those types of people. The world doesn't owe you anything, and you don't owe the world anything. But I will say that trusting myself to invest in the soul of existence, and that the soul of existence will invest back into me, has been a life changer for many faculties of my own life. And what is this guy doing over here? He's like got a ladder hanging from the building. It's so strange, to be in the spirit of the time that we live in, and to just accept that this is the way that people want to choose to be. Like, you can't choose anything else for these people, because that would be trying to sabotage their own destiny. And if you try to sabotage their own destiny, it's not going to end well for you. Okay, it's not going to end well for anybody, because you're trying to control things that are not in your control. Grace is in control. You have, notice how when I said grace is in control, the sun came back a little bit stronger. Grace is in control. And the more aware you are, the more prosperous your life will be. But it's not about like getting this or getting that. It's about just being it. Don't try to get attractive, or don't try to get a full sack. Just be a man who is attractive with a full sack, who is competent and is building a life and has something going for themselves. Even if it maybe isn't exactly what you want right now. Trust the process. You have to trust the process. And don't let these people who are basically just trying to aura farm you try to send you negativity. And if they do, accept it and transmute that. Create something. That's exactly what I did. You don't have to write poetry or draw something necessarily, but do whatever you want to do on your own time. Maybe write a song, maybe paint, maybe build something with Legos. Who the f knows, man? But just don't let it silence you simply because they want it to. We're more than that, and we're better than this. And it's not because we're better people as in like, oh, we're so much better. It's more like we simply know better, and because of our consciousness of knowing better, it implies that we have the responsibility, not the sacred, duty. It's not like our job. It's just a responsibility, because once you're aware of something and you don't do something about it and it can affect you negatively, well then, yeah, that's going to be your quote-unquote karma, right? Your karma, of course, if you have something that you need to do, but you don't do it, that, yeah, you're going to get negative karma for that necessarily. But especially if something's truthful and you don't correct it. This is why I don't necessarily follow Christ anymore per se. I still have utmost respect for Christ and his teachings, and I still see the Christ. Like, I see everyone as the Christ, let's say, like God or the soul of existence. But I don't necessarily see like one man being God in the flesh, because you're going to put yourself in a situation where you have to idolize. Now, I'm not saying he isn't, okay? Before y'all Christians, get crazy. I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm not saying he is either. I'm simply saying that maybe there's more to you than you think. Maybe there's more to us all, because it's not a matter of us and them anymore. It's all us. It's like these guys that, that tried to manipulate you or to try to use your kindness and compassion for evil doings. It's like, recognize that they are the ones who are involved with their own stuff going on. Okay, they've got their own whatever happening, and so we don't need to associate ourselves with that. We just need to see it for what it is and let go, because it's not ours. It's not ours to deal with. So this is part of the godlike mastery practice, is to be able to let go and to be detached without compromising ourselves or without compromising our own compassion. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. I hope everybody stays blessed. Peace. Until next time.